Happy Friday evening, everybody. It's Mr. First Down here for Fanboys Unleashed. Delighted to have you here. Happy Memorial Day weekend. We've got a good one here today. This is one of my all-time special friends, one of my favorite people. He's going to insult me as soon as he gets on camera. It's just, I think he loves me deep down. Anyway, we'll figure it out together. I have crossed enemy lines today. A Texans fan is going to be on. This guy helped me with my podcasting stuff, and he is absolutely terrific. Carlos from Just Fans is on, and we're getting ready to talk tonight on Fanboys Unleashed right after this intro. Hello. Go ahead.
Hello. First of all, I cannot confirm or deny that in any way, shape, or form we are friends.
Okay.
I just want to put that out there and legal, so everybody's aware of that.
Legal, just put it out there.
What's going on, brother? Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for coming along. I appreciate it. Welcome to the show and everything. And it's always good. We had to cut through this off season together. I got to be on your show, which was way too long in the making. I have a lot of fun on that show. The Just Fans podcast, you guys should totally check them out. They are just great. And Carlos here leads that merry band of gentlemen over there. And he is he's a man with many hats. He's a school teacher. He is a Texans fan, and he even does some reporting on the side for the team. So it's really interesting to me. And I was wondering if you could get into that. What's it like going from like pure fan mode to kind of having to straddle the middle ground there in the briefing room?
I think, to be fair, it's I think everybody grows up to be a fan of this stuff, right?
Right. Absolutely.
As a kid, you grow up and everybody wants to be the quarterback. Everybody wants to, do this and that. You play football one shape or another, whether it's part of a team or just for fun out with the guys and everything. So you're a fan of the game, and
Right.
After a while, that fandom leads you to do things. For example, obviously for the longest time, Houston, the Texans and whatnot. And then, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with that? And then, we started podcasting, the Just Fans in 2022. I see Alan right there. It's old Houston.
I know.
New Houston.
Leave it to the Cowboys fan to have to say something. They just
Alan,
can't be quiet.
I don't appreciate your negativity there, Alan.
We don't appreciate it, both of us.
This is a show of culture, family, and acceptance here. So I don't appreciate your negativity there, Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
Thank you for commenting on the show. Appreciate it.
By the way, thank you for commenting. After all that, thank you. Yeah, but you're fully aware of our story, Sam. I started the Just Fans. We were called the old Texan Talking podcast before that, and we started it just because I wanted to talk sports with my friends.
Sure.
And I think a lot of us started that way. They just want to kind of release what our knowledge or whatever we perceive as knowledge out to people and see how many people agree or how many people disagree with us, and then from there, you get your buddies, because then if not, you're just one single person talking into a void of whoever may or may not be hearing you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's Poppy. The story with Poppy, one of my guys on the show, is because my wife, that's his sister, and I obviously met her, and then while talking to him at family gatherings, I just kind of asked him, hey, do you want to be like my second guy? Because I'm just kind of talking to myself here in this podcast, and that I just started like 3 weeks ago. And you seem pretty knowledgeable. So we kind of did that. And you, as a podcaster, Sam, you have your technology issues. Like, we had one microphone next to each other, and then he sounded very far away, and all your tech issues, right, start coming in. Eventually, as time goes by, you start fixing things here and there because you start doing more research, and that's all the research you do because of the because of you love of the sport. Then I decided to join in Rios, who I used to play indoor soccer with back when we were younger. terribly, might I add. We played the sport, and obviously I figured, Rios is knowledgeable when it comes to this stuff. Why not have him on as well? Give a 3-person perspective. We did that for
Sure.
about 3 years. Excuse me, 2 years. Still going, by the way. And eventually somebody picked us up. Somebody liked what we did, and then they asked me and if I wanted to do a show for them. And then there's a possibility of credentials along the way, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. And we did that. We started doing Bring on the Blitz for the Areskina company, and they provide a lot of support for, how do you call it, for the Latino community,
Yep.
and highlight the Latino sports, because there's a low community of Latino players in the league, and so we highlight those because we can relate to fans, and there's a huge population of Latino community in the NFL. A lot of
Mhm.
there, so a little bit of light is shown the way. Find Reels museum and around. We didn't know what he was doing. We found him there. Um,
We
yeah,
found him
dude.
there. We're in the
Yeah.
gutter. He
He
just
was on the.
pulled
He was.
over.
He was just there with like, sir, you seem like He was rambling to himself, and we were and so I was like, you know what, that guy knows what he's talking about. And I
You
asked
guys
him.
got any change?
Yeah. Well, anyway, and they just kind of picked us up, and along the lines of us doing our show, I noticed that the media outlet, Areskina, they do a lot of article writing, and so I kind of wanted to get into that. I was like, hey, I always like writing. I was like, hey, how can I get into writing? So I started submitting a few samples here and there, and it didn't start off great, and then it finally got better as I developed. It just kind of put time and effort to really get to understand the format, how do they want it to be written,
Right.
and things like that. And it took a while, and I finally submitted one, and they really liked, and they were like, okay, would you mind covering the Texans? I was like the in the NFL, like, because they don't have an NFL person, so they asked me to do it,
Right.
and I was like, sure. And I did, and I got Texans credentials, which I never in my mind thought would happen.
Never in a million years,
Um,
man. I would
and,
lose my mind.
and
And
you know, I,
probably my credentials day one.
right,
I
yeah,
love
and
you,
that's the
bro.
thing. There's so many rules that, as a fan, you don't understand, and you don't
Mhm.
see the perspective behind it, man. You're like, wait, why do we do this? But then you understand, okay, I see why, and things like that. And so now it's like, you got credentials, you take care of them as much as you can, you abide by the rules. And I never thought that I'd be, as long as I've been watching football, I never thought I'd be in the press box with writers, legendary Hall of Fame writers, and him, John McClain.
Right.
He does stuff for the Titans for you guys, and then he does stuff for over here in Houston for the Texans, and he does a few other things, I think, for the Longhorns as well. And so I'm just happy that I'm just happy that it's been able to evolve from starting a podcast because I had COVID and I had nothing to do, to now
Right.
being in the press box of the Texans, and also working for the Houston, being in the press box for the Houston Dynamo in soccer. That
Hmm. Hmm.
we got some tournaments happening, for big tournaments here in soccer, coming up in the summertime, and eventually, hopefully, maybe try to get a landing spot in the World Cup one day.
Hey, wouldn't
Um,
that be freaking awesome?
yeah, and since they're coming in 2026, and the best part, Sam, I forgot to share this. I got to go to the NFL Combine. Like, I got
Yeah,
to,
yeah, up in
uh,
Indianapolis.
I got to be there with Shador Sanders, and being in the interview when he did. We talked about why wouldn't the team pick me or whatever, and then I talked to Xavier Restrepo, which is now with the Titans.
Yep.
I got to interview him just a little bit. Damien Martinez, like, it's a lot of fun. It's been a great experience, to be honest with you. Wow. I
No,
appreciate you, Alan.
I hope you don't take that for granted and whatnot, because yeah, I mean, that's really awesome that you get to do that.
Mm.
I wish I could. I tried doing the writing article thing and I stunk at it. Just absolutely.
I mean,
Like,
and
stunk at it.
and to be fair, like, English isn't my first language. It's
Right.
so that
Espanol.
one, yeah, Spanish, and then
Espanol.
Espanol. Hola, Sam.
Espanol.
But yeah, it's what I mean. So
Ciao.
yeah, so it's been a challenge here and there, but I mean, after a while, once it's like muscle memory. You kind of just have to keep practicing in order to keep going. You have to keep
Right.
practicing or whatever, and then it just, after a while, you just kind of get used to it, and
Right.
that's how it is, bro. That's just been the journey from there on, and All I hope is this: you and I can share this. All I hope is somewhere down the line we made our friend Dan the man proud.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Dan helped me get my official start. He put up with me when I was asking people what their favorite Pop Tarts were, and
I remember
stuff
if
like,
you were a Dorito, which one would you be? I was like, Sam,
I have come leaps and bounds, baby.
you
Leaps
have,
and
brother.
bounds.
You really have. You really have.
Thank you.
But no,
Thanks.
it's all Dan, dude. Dan. I hope I hope he's happy with what you and I have done.
I would like to think so. I hope I made him proud. I really do. Rest in peace, buddy.
Yes, sir. Rest in peace, Dan.
So I guess I'll go ahead and ask this question because you and I could talk football literally all day.
Oh yeah.
24/7. So this is one of these pods. If you're up and watching football, please jump on. We're going to talk just about anything. But are you shocked? Because I'm take the Titans fandom out of it. Okay, take everything out of this room that you see behind you. Take it all out of there.
Even the spinning helmet behind you?
No, you can't. That's got to stay.
All right, deal.
That's got to stay. But the coverage on Cam Ward on night one, I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. Like, let's say it wasn't the Titans. Let's say it's the Texans drafted him. And people in the media seemed so shocked. Well, why is everybody getting mad or whatever? Because you didn't cover him as a first-round draft pick. You were just like, and they take Cam Ward. Anyway, so there's this trade. And it was like, I don't know. It just kind of felt like a slap in the face to me and whatnot. And you're kind of semi in that media stratosphere. Somewhat,
not deep, but at least I get to talk to a few of those guys. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that it's just out of line? You like Mel Kiper's out of line? Is that out of line to feel that way, or do you think that's kind of like a crappy job that they did? Because it's rare. It's rare that you get Kyle Brandt arguing about it on Good Morning Football. It's rare that you get Solomon Wilcox on a podcast yelling about it and whatnot. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on the matter, really.
On the fact that that Cam Ward was the lack of coverage?
Yeah. Huh? Like, just pushed aside. Like,
yeah, no, agreed. I mean, I think down here I did get to see some coverage, where like I think I see more of it now. I guess mostly on Twitter and things like that. Oh yeah, Dan was the best. I get to see it now more on Twitter, more coverage. But yeah, I think honestly, I think Cam Ward's gonna work well with you guys. I'm actually happy for you guys that you guys got Cam Ward. I did a lot of since I covered a lot of Restrepo and Dane Martinez in Miami. I obviously you can't just cover Restrepo and
no.
and those guys without covering Cam Ward. And so you I understand how he is, and I think you and I have had conversations about like Cam Ward because that was what the rumor mill was around. Titans are going to pick Cam Ward, and it obviously happened. I think they over here from what I saw, I think it was fine what they did. I didn't have an actual problem with how they covered Cam, but I'm not sure how. I think for you guys because you're actually in Tennessee, so I don't know if you got to see it a little differently. I think it just depends on the location where it was. I saw a decent amount of coverage of Cam, to be honest with you, and I was like, okay, I see it, and but I will agree with you. I did see more after the draft. A little bit more
of people kind of. Even Rich Eisen said something.
Yeah,
Mel Kiper and stuff. That's rare that you.
It is 100%, and I've never seen it, but I'm hoping to see a lot of great stuff from Cam because he looks like he's about it. He looks like he's about
football. He handles his business.
Yeah, he handles his business, and it doesn't feel like he's all about the glam and everything that comes around it. I
Getting think mayonnaise commercials.
No mayonnaise commercials from you guys. Yeah, and so I feel like he's going to be about his business, and I think that that he's I think it's going to help elevate you guys in the AFC South. I think, I don't know if it's going to happen right away. I mean, if you look back with the Texans, when they got CJ Stroud, I don't think anybody really expected CJ to elevate the Texans right away immediately, but you guys may have a similar situation. I think I've told you this. I really did enjoy how you guys drafted because you put all the pieces that you needed for a franchise quarterback to get to work. It's not like you had to, we got the quarterback, but did you really get anything else by him? You did what you had to do, and then what I did enjoy is like, again, uh Restrepo, who again I covered here and there, and the fact of him going undrafted still baffles me here and now, but I get it.
Yeah.
It's because of the injury or that the 40 that he ran on his on Miami's pro day. And so the fact that Cam Ward advocated for Restrepo to go in there, his number one guy at Miami, like that says a lot. That means he wants to kind of keep the band together, and that's a reliable guy for Cam Ward. So, and then the fact that that the Titans listened to him, that means a lot. That means I think that it shows faith from your organization to Cam Ward, and they're listening to him, and they feel like if there's something that's going to help the team, why not? So, I think you guys will be okay with that aspect. And the fact that, like I said, as far as the coverage goes, to me over here, I saw a decent amount. I've seen more because I think there's more things coming out of Cam now, especially after the camps. And I think he's gaining more attention, which is good. But I think to me, I saw a fair amount. But what about you guys? What did you think? What was your perspective on it?
You kind of have to take this as it is. I want to be clear here. I do not take up the banner as much. I am a Fanboy Unleashed. I love this team. I do. Yeah. I do. But there are certain things that I am scrupulous about, like being on Team Trade Out, for example, right? I think the perfect idea was to trade out there. And I don't think I'm unvalidated in believing that was a good idea, because I more picks, more bites at the apple. Why not? So I do feel better after getting to see more of Cam, and I do feel better after getting weapons like Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm, I think, is going to be terrific.
Oh, definitely.
I think he is going to be terrific. I will beat the drum for that kid. I love him. So, but when it comes to things like this, like you have to understand, and you understand this, small market teams, right? Yeah. They just constantly get pushed aside. But it seems like, I think the line down here is small town teams get pushed aside, and then the Titans get kicked off the cliff.
I see what you're saying. It's kind of like if you're comparing it to baseball, you're thinking like the Yankees get glory and the Dodgers do, but a team like the
Guardians,
or the Astros don't get as much coverage. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I agree. It happens like that because it's a smaller market team than like the Chiefs right now or the Patriots and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. It's like I tell them, what's the line for Major League, right? There's only one thing to do: win the whole effing thing. That is the only way you're going to get them to shut up. Nobody looked at New England until Tom Brady and Bill Belichick made it a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people tend to forget that. Look, they were good. Don't get me wrong. They had good teams in the past or whatever, but that's a small market team. And what they have to do, they had to win. They had to win. That's how they got the recognition.
So Green Bay, Green Bay was good. The 60s.
They have what's the word? Stable. They are probably the most stable franchise out there.
They produce a quarterback just about every.
Yeah, just all the time. Take my backup, for example. He runs up there, he runs the same 6 plays, and everybody's like, "This man's a genius," and I'm like, "Okay, all right, well, I get it." And stuff like that. I tell you what, when I was up there for the draft, though, man.
Oh yeah, you were there. Huh?
Amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't know how to explain it. You walk in to the stadium like it's a church, and nobody's telling you to be quiet or whatnot, but you're kind of just in awe of those names and the years like 1890 to 1903 and stuff like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, like you have a respect for it, like Yeah.
This is it's like going to church. You just kind of sit there and nobody was being loud or obnoxious or anything. It's just amazing. This is also true, Alan. And first of all, anybody that goes there,
I read the text.
They all did. Okay, that's part of that. I guess what's going to happen to me in Pittsburgh, I'm going to get drunk off booze and whatever food they're serving there that day, I suppose. Probably the Bus's Steakhouse or something. That would be my guess, but we shall see. But I'll move on here because you got a pretty good beat on Restrepo, so much so that I had messages from 4 months ago when you were
Yeah.
saying Restrepo is a dude.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit more for the Titans fans that might be listening here today
Well,
or watching?
yeah, he broke records at Miami, dude. Like he
Yeah.
broke records at Miami that guy, the Hall of Famers, uh, Santana Moss, like these guys had, and it's
Hmm.
this is something that you can't take for granted. I think to me, if you beat records from, I think Michael Irving too. I think he broke a record from Michael Irving as well.
Oh wow.
I wrote about those, and it's just the all-time catching record. And like if you do that at Miami, where so many greats came from, Andre Johnson as well for the Texans, like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to me says something, and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
Right.
Restrepo, I mean, he's a very quarterback friendly receiver, and that's what you need in this league. You need somebody you
Correct.
can rely on. I always kind of
Nice little
compared him.
safety blanket, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always compared him to one as I was talking to another guy that we were at the combine. It was just kind of like I saw him as kind of like a Wes Welker,
Hmm.
McConkey kind of guy, you know what I mean? Like Lad McConkey kind of guy. Those little
Yeah.
quick, those little
Yeah.
receiver, those slot receivers. I mean, he's one of the guys that was, top tier in the slot. He was one of the best guys coming out of it.
Right.
He ended up what? He's like he's 5'10".
Yes.
He finished the regular this past season with like 69 receptions, 100, 1,000, 1,000, 11, 20, 11, 1,127 yards and 11 touchdowns with Cam Ward. So he is a guy that made a name for himself in Miami. Like,
Right.
and it's something that you, like I said, you can't take lightly because I think he established is by Santana Moss and Mike Harley and for all time catches and receiving yards. I was just trying to clarify that up. Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, it's okay.
And so he, he's fast with the ball. He has a really high IQ, and he can track the ball really well. That's the thing. And so that obviously helps. I think it's gonna help Cam Ward if Restrepo was able to make the team, which I think he will. When you brought up Gunnar Helm as well, Cam Ward also had Elijah Arroyo, tight end over there at in Miami, who went to Seattle. But it kind of reminds me a little bit of Gunnar Helm as well. So now you got that weapon for Cam Ward as well, and I feel like they can kind of replicate a little bit of what they did in Miami.
Right.
So Elijah Arroyo was also very helpful in that Miami offense. Restrepo, he has pretty decent speed when it comes to as soon as he gets open, and dude, his drop rate was very low. That's the
Right.
thing about Restrepo as well. His
Great
drop
hands.
great hands, like he barely dropped the pass if anything. But the fact that like I said, you're able to break these Hall of Famers records. Your drop rating is extremely low. You're able to get across the field at a pretty good time, and you're able to get separation as well. Like now, the only thing is this: he was able to get a lot of great separation, but this is against people in college. Now in the NFL, that's where the challenge is. Are you able to get across these corners at a decent
Take the next
speed?
step. Yeah.
Take the next step. If he's able to do that, then there you go. You have the same guy that you had in Miami, but to another level.
Right.
It's just the tenacity. He's a dog. He'll go up and get it. He doesn't care. He'll contest it. But that's what I liked about Restrepo, and the work ethic too, dude. Like he'll do what he needs to, and just I mean, when I was talking to him and I asked him a few questions, I think I'd asked him like, well, have you talked to any of the teams? And obviously since I'm in the press box for the Texans, I asked, did you talk to the Texans? And he's like, yes, I did, because Restrepo and them, they're the way that the Texans, I think that they're going to do with Nick Haley is more of the spread formation, kind of like Miami had the spread. They're moving from whatever Bobby Slowick was doing to now into more into the spread formation, which I mean Restrepo excels in. So I thought, I can see them going in there, and I'll agree with Gunnar Helm. Reminds me a lot of Kittle. I agree. It reminds me.
He was my favorite pick.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Gunnar Helm is a good one. So I think having, I think he's going to be underrated. If Restrepo is able to take the next step and make the team, the 53-man roster at the end of it, I think he's going to be an underrated fellow. Like he's going to be underrated, and they're not going to see him. They're not going to see him coming.
Right.
I think you got a good one with him as long as Cam and him are able to replicate at least what they did in Miami together. Then at that point, dude, you're going to have a solid team. And a lot of teams, if Restrepo's able to get to that level, are going to regret not being able to pick him before that.
Good. Thank you for that. That's a good breakdown. That'll make a couple of YouTube shorts. I'm in. Oh, sorry, you already said that.
You're welcome. I do it for the clout. No,
do anything for the clout. So next up, you have your new OC, Haley, right? Nick Haley.
Nick Haley.
I definitely don't hate that hire. I think some people kind of poo-pooed on it, and I was like, I don't think it's that big of come on. Let the guy go. And I think more of a spread is exactly what that young quarterback needs. I think a lot of the young quarterbacks coming out need more of a spread because it's what you did a lot of in college. What they're going to be good at, probably throwing the ball quickly out to guys on the edges or the middle and stuff like that. But do you feel very confident in that? You think it's all going to work out? Not that we can say anything because, we've had rookie OTAs and all we've seen are highlights of them throwing against air, and we're like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I will say this: I think last season we a lot of us discussed about Bobby Slowick's gameplay, and we were quite critical of it, and it was very it was very obvious. Whenever you have a guy like Dalton Schultz line up against an all-pro linebacker or tackle, and he's getting just pummeled, you know what I mean? And now you have, that particular guy going against CJ Stroud, and that's what caused a lot of the sacks. Also, just the way that the line was rotating and things like that. There was a lot about that scheme last season with the Texans that was very detrimental to CJ's development. There is a breakdown now where a lot of analysts are talking about, well, the line really did CJ Stroud no favors. I was like, yes, that's exactly what we've been talking about this whole time.
Right, but so you have to coach like the line doesn't do you any favors.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying we had any success last year, but you could tell instantly after game one, they tried to get that ball out of Levis's hand as quickly as possible. They had to adjust. Yeah. That's the thing. You got to change. You have to adapt. And there was just, I don't think, no adaptation there.
Exactly.
Like,
and
and Bobby system, this is how it works.
Right. And so I think now, and again, exactly, we're not too sure again because it's Nick Haley's barely coming in. So but most likely it's looking like it might be that spread formation that he did, that he helped with the Rams where he came from. And I think it's a little bit more evident because the Texans drafted 2 wide receivers from Iowa State, and so you got yourself your slot, you have yourself somebody on the outside to, be comparable to Nico Collins on the other side that has a height, now you got 2 big guys on the outside. Either I think it's gonna be like pick your poison. You want Nico Collins or you want Jalen Higgins on the other side, who's comparable in size to Nico Collins. I can't remember off the top of my head how tall he is, but I know they were comparable in sizes. But and I think once Jalen Higgins, I'm curious to see how the transition is from college to that first year. If he's able to pick up on it quick, then that's going to be another weapon for CJ Stroud. If he's not, then we'll see. You'll see the development because you have Tank Dell's a guy that once he got injured at the Chiefs game, the gruesome injury, like you don't know how he's going to come back. It's a gruesome injury, and
it's not great. They ruined Delaney Walker's career. He never came back.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like that, I think the Texans drafting another receiver, Jalen Noel. I think that kind of is almost like a security blanket, like a security blanket. Like, well, what if Tank doesn't come back the same way he was back then? He's been injured twice, so and this one obviously was worse than the first one. So,
it was.
It's like, so you have to, as a team, you have to think towards the future. As hard as people don't want to hear it, because fandom wise, like, oh, you can't get Tank this, Tank that. Yes, but you got to understand, at the end of the day, it's a business. You have to be able to move your team forward, and that's how you do it. That's the only way to do it. And
Yeah,
so I get why they picked the two receivers, Higgins and Noel. Like
sure.
it makes sense,
It
and I think
does.
the Texans addressed areas of need. I think the part where they were more critical about it was with the offensive line, because I thought they were going to go a certain way, but then once the Texans traded Laramie Tunsil over to the Commanders, for more picks, I think that was that changed a little bit of the trajectory of the Texans. And
I was shocked by that, by the way. I,
uh yes
maybe
and
I shouldn't
no.
have been, but I was a little like, wow, okay,
I think they were trying to go for a change in culture,
okay.
and a change of leadership, because I know they don't
Did he
want
wear a gas mask or something? Something happened.
to. No, I think it's just the fact that they don't, something was happening to. I think they just needed a culture change in the offensive line, and I
Sure.
think that has to deal with
We did
probably.
that too. They
Yeah.
they took out people. You're like, why'd they take him away? It's
And well, Laramie Tunsil was an important piece because he,
yeah.
CJ's side, that side of CJ was just kind of was
As
very
soon
well
as he
protected.
started, it seemed to have an immediate impact. You know.
Yeah. And
Uh,
so I think with that, I think that kind of throws a statement.
mhm.
Um and I made a statement for the team. And I think it's more of like, well, you have the Texans drafted how do you call it? Arante Ursary to basically replace Laramie Tunsil, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
I like the pick. I've seen him out of college. He's done he does a lot really well in that left tackle spot. So, I'm optimistic, but it's obviously, if you were it's almost like the downside, the other side of it's a double-edged sword. The other side of it's like,
Yeah.
well, you were already having problems with the offensive line. Now you got rid of
Mm.
your best offensive line player. How do you expect these guys to gel and mesh? So,
Right.
it all just depends on how it really just depends. And I think with the new offensive line coach as well, Strouser is out of the Texans as well, because that offensive line
Oh yeah.
season did not
Had to
produce.
go.
So now
Had
you
to
got
go.
to get somebody else, and let's see. It's just like now it's like a wait and see how this offensive line is going to gel with these members. How maybe some guys are going to switch from left to right and things like that. It's just going to be something to look forward to.
Yeah, no, I get it. The wait and see. I think that's every football fan right
Right?
now
Yeah.
in the off season. We're all stuck. A lot of pressure on us, of course, because we're sitting here like, God, you can't do last year again. You just can't.
Right,
Uh,
and that's the sense of it. Like, you just
mhm.
can't do last year again. And I think, like I said, I think the Texans addressed what they needed as far as wide receiver, because
Sure.
obviously losing Stephon Diggs was hurt the team, because he was
Hmm.
reliable. And then
Took
once
the
he.
top of the defense kind of guy. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And so, and that, with the guys that they had, that they have Xavier Hutchinson and John Mechie, like those were the next, those were the guys that were supposed to step up. But
Right.
if you once you saw when the Texans got eliminated by the Chiefs, they couldn't get separation to save their life. And I think
Right.
that's one of the reasons why D'Amico and Nick Casario were like, no, we need to get new receivers. Maybe some competition, maybe, and it could work, because that's the perspective, right? You can
Hmm.
draft some guys, and maybe it lights a little bit of fire under the other guys.
Sure.
And if it
Sure.
doesn't, well, guess what? You just drafted two new rookies that you can mold them. They're moldable.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. I like that kind of the way of thinking. I've always wanted to ask you this. I never
Sure.
have. What is your favorite uh, football position? Your favorite one to ever like look at? Like mine's defensive line. I could literally
Okay.
sit there and watch if I'm even at the game or anything. I zoom in on the offensive line. I don't even know the balls out of the hands yet. Offensive defensive line. I absolutely love it.
I like to be honest with you, I like the safety position.
Mm.
Safety
They're
is
so subtle. They're
they're
so
so
subtle with their
subtle, and
movement.
it's because it's the
They're
guy that
crazy.
you're kind of like least expecting. They're the sneaky ones, right? Like they,
Yeah.
the safety blitz is one of my favorite, because
Oh
you see
yeah.
him up the corner, and then when it's actually successful, boom.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
guess, and I think that goes back when I used to watch like the Steelers, and they had Troy Polamalu is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Oh yeah.
seeing like
Monster.
how Troy Polamalu played, I think it made me really like that position. If
Mm-hmm.
we're just going by positions, like what position do you like? I like
Yeah.
the safety position. I've always been a defensive guy, and
Mm-hmm.
so to me, that safety spot, because they're subtle. They're hard hitters. You know, they have to be so versatile. They could be hard hitters. They can, you know, do the safety blitz. They and then they're just a backup for the corners as well. You know, like, and when they can't, I
Right.
think to me, for some reason, I find it a little bit more satisfying when a safety catches an interception than when a corner does, because it's like, yeah, you're the corner, yeah, you're supposed to do that or block whatever,
Yeah, but doesn't it kind of feel like with the corner, they're like, "Oh, you threw it right to him." Like that's
yeah,
not special,
yeah,
you know.
and that's just
He
my own
just
personal thing. I like the safety spot.
sure.
Yeah,
No. I get it. I get it. I like safety. It's subtle. Their movements are so
yes,
subtle, and you
yeah,
don't like you're on the left side of the field, then you see and they're kind of drifted into the middle,
yeah. It's just like they're always
quietly.
watching. You know, they're always
Yeah,
like watching.
yeah. I kind of put it as like a like a tiger getting ready to
Yeah,
pounce. It's kind of
ready to pounce, and
you can see him.
it's just like seeing where you going, where you going, where you going, just reading it carefully. Of course, you know
We
your linebacker, your Mike linebacker is your quarterback of the defense, but the
right.
safety spot, like I think that safety
You
spot is great.
beat me to it, Alan. I was about to say I got to
Ed
grow
Reed,
up watching
yeah, Ed Reed,
Potamalu and Ed Reed.
yeah.
Those Steelers and Ravens teams would just go
Oh,
so hard.
that was a heck of a rivalry. Like,
Yeah. I mean, they still have a rivalry, but it's nothing like
yeah,
it used to
I
be.
don't think, yeah, it's not
Ooh-wee.
comparable to what it was before. Brother, can I ask
Right.
you a question? Ask you a
Yep.
question.
Yep.
Okay, let me. So I recently wrote. I had an interview with this guy named AJ Perez. Right, he's
Okay.
one of the executive producers for the Untold series on Netflix, for
Oh yeah.
the brand new one that just came out with Brett Favre. Have you
Brett
seen it?
Favre. Oh, not yet. I'm scared of it. Like, I don't know. You ever like as a kid, you're like, that guy's the man, and then like
Dude,
never meet your heroes kind of
right.
treatment.
He was I was talking to Rios actually through text, and I was just
Mhm.
like, dude, Brett was like my Patrick Mahomes. You know what the kids see now is
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
it's kind of
But
hard,
yeah,
you
like,
know.
you know, like you said, I'm a teacher, so like I get to see when my students wear like the Patrick Mahomes
Mhm.
jerseys, you know, and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know where
So
Kansas City is on a map, but they're
say
wearing
it
the
again?
jersey. They don't know where
Y
Kansas City is on the
yeah,
map, but
it's like, you know,
they think it's in Kansas, you know.
I see the Kansas City jerseys because
It's the
of
capital of Kansas, duh, you know.
it is, and so, you know, you see how the kids, even if it's not your local team, like they idolize
Mhm.
um you know, the top quarterback. And you know, for people like us that we grew up in the 90s, like
Yeah.
you see, like your guy
Favre
was
jerseys everywhere.
Favre jerseys
Everywhere.
everywhere. That was the guy, you know.
Mhm.
For us, it was Favre for sure, but then, you know, Michael Vick came along the picture, and I was a big Steve
Mhm.
McNair fan, to be fair, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Steve McNair. I loved watching Michael Vick, and I watched, and you know, obviously Brett Favre was there. And then, you know, you got your you know, Brady
That
comes
was
in, and
that was the joke, Alan. That was the
yes,
joke I was making.
yes, Alan.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was like that, but that's what I was joking.
I'm not pointing at my hairline. I'm just talking about, which is,
Fill it in, bro. Get a Sharpie. Just let me fill it in real
right.
quick.
So we fill it up to like right here.
But yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna watch it, but I need to prepare myself for it because
I,
that's heavy for me.
it is like when I had the interview with AJ again. He's one AJ
Mhm.
Perez. He's again one of the executive producers for the documentary,
Right.
and you'll see him on the on the
Oh,
show.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
he's on the series. He has quite a he has a segment that tells you, you know, that that's a, you know, that kind of adds on to what they're talking about, and he's there. Just look from AJ Perez and what they did. He's, you know, when I talked to him, it was like, wow, like figuring out all these things, and what
Mhm.
happened, public records that went
Heavy,
on and things like that. And
heavy.
it
Yeah,
was, wow, it was disappointing, I guess. It was just like, wow,
yeah.
I was like, all the stuff that came out, it was just like, goodness gracious. But yeah, definitely, if you're I would say, just, you know, keep an open mind as you're watching it. I think most people, when they see it, from what I was looking at the reviews on Twitter, but then again, it's just Twitter.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna hate everything on Twitter, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's just like, you gotta look at the perspective of it. It's you know, but you know, that's the whole point. You have to look at it, and just, I saw it as a precautionary tale, to be honest with
Right.
you, like for future football players that are at that level, and see, you know, I think it's called the fall of far for a reason.
Mhm.
You know, it's a precautionary tale, but dude,
You we
it's something that you'll look at, and you're definitely gonna think about it. I know Rios watched it last week, recently, and it's just, it's incredible. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, Favre jerseys
it's
were back all over the place. Yeah,
all over. You couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
People
couldn't
weren't
go.
even Packers fans and wearing his jersey.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
the impact like that Patrick Mahomes has now, you know, with you see
Right.
Patrick Mahomes jerseys in different places. Like I said, we see him down here and stuff like that. So,
I
yeah,
remember going to Titans games in the 2010s, and it
yeah,
was Seahawks jerseys. And they
yes,
were
that's correct.
kids, you know, and they were wearing Seahawks jersey. I'm like, you don't even know where it is. And I can hear their dads talking to them. They're like, yeah, I'm a Seahawks fan now. He's like, yes, you are, Tim. Sure. You know, and to keep dad's wearing a Titans jersey. He's like, like, you know, sure you are.
No, but I've seen people wear it because I think there's two perspectives. You can be like the fan of the team, but I think if you respect players, I think
Absolutely.
people if you respect the player, like that's in another team. Also, I think you wear it, but that's a discussion for later. But you wear those and to represent the player if you're a fan of the player. But I don't know. For some of us, like wearing a jersey from.
I wouldn't wear the jersey. I mean, I would like I always liked Matt Hasselbeck, and I have a Matt Hasselbeck Titans jersey, but I have a friend that gave me a Seahawks Matt Hasselbeck jersey, and I've always loved him.
Do you wear it proudly?
No. I have it tucked away safe somewhere. So when I die and people are like, why is this in here? And just confuse them, that kind of thing. It's the
Bury
same
you with it?
Yeah, Reggie White, and stuff like that with the Eagles. And then the Packers, where he finally clutched platinum, clutch glory, the one thing that we're always after.
Yeah.
So that's just Oklahoma has literally every fan base around here. I used to be roommates with a Steelers fan. Oh goodness, man.
Yeah.
Those Steelers fans. I can't wait to be surrounded by that.
I will say this.
They're everywhere, dude. There's Steelers bars down in Nashville right now. Yeah, and there's Bills bars down. Bills and Steelers. I see them everywhere.
Yeah, Bills and Steelers have a fan
base. That's
base.
even when they were not great. Not even when they were great, the Bills fans were here.
Oh yeah,
you know what
I
mean? I'll get you this, and I'll let you go because, like I said, you and I can stay on for 18 hours and sit here and talk ball.
Welcome to the Fanboys Unleashed, going on for 30 days straight.
Yeah, give us. You better. We're not getting off the air until you put enough money in our jars.
Yeah.
So, but
Cash had Big Red.
I feel like there is a lot of pressure on the Texans, not from anybody in the division. I'm not vain or something like that, but like, I mean, there might be pressure from the Titans. That'd be great. I'm kind of looking at the Colts, and I think I'm like, do you look at the Colts the same way I do, where you're like, I don't know, like, or
I don't know. It just depends on. I think.
Because I'm not scared of Trevor Lawrence. I'm not scared of him at all.
No, I don't see the Jaguars right now. If you're talking about AFC South, Unleashed NPR night, Fanboys Unleashed after dark.
Yeah, coffee sip. Yeah. Hello, my name's Otto. This is Gustav. Sorry. Go ahead.
And then you wonder why we make fun of you.
No, I don't wonder. I know.
Oh, okay.
No, I got it. I figured it out.
Chat's about to be blowing up right now, Sam. Watch.
My entire life.
Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, no. If you're talking about the AFC South as a whole, I think when it comes to the Jaguars, I don't see the Jaguars elevating to a competitive stage right now.
I know this is year 6 for Trevor, right? This is year 6.
That is correct. And I just don't see them elevating. I think the Jaguars they're their own worst enemy, I think, at some point. And I think they're
shot in the foot over and over.
Yeah, several times. And I like that. I think that they went to get Travis Hunter, but at some point it's like, okay, at what cost? And I think that's the argument that most fans will have.
I thought they paid too much personally. I mean, I get
that's
it.
One perspective. I think I think some people are saying that they're that was a big leap to get. So I'm wondering, like, because and another thing is that they want to play. He wants to play receiver and corner.
Right.
So I don't know how that's going to work in the league.
Yeah, I don't either, because everybody I talk to, every podcast I've listened to, you and everybody else have told me he's a cornerback. He's not a wide receiver. He's a corner.
Yeah, I see him as a corner, but I mean, if for some reason he's able to do that, then more power to them. But if not, then I just can't see. Like, do you change jersey numbers? Like, does that work? What if if you did, like, if you got ejected as a corner, do you come back as a wide receiver?
It's a totally different number.
No, I'm just kidding. That'd be funny.
This is Hunter Travis.
This is Hunter Travis. Yeah,
with a mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I just kind of looked at that.
I said that because of the meme that I saw, so it made me laugh.
Yeah.
And so it's at that point it's like I don't know how that's gonna work, but I right now I don't see for many reasons really. I just don't see uh Jacksonville kind of being there. I mean, I could be wrong, but I
It
don't get
would
a
be
vibe
one
from it
heck
either.
of a leap.
It
I
would
mean,
be
as
a
a
heck of a
Giant.
leap. Agreed. With the Colts,
Danny
I don't know
Jones,
what
it's got to be Daniel Jones because I just don't
I
believe in
I think
AR.
Anthony Richardson lost some of the locker room and lost a lot of respect from people in the
Uh-huh.
organization when he decided to tap
Uh-huh.
out against the Texans, and I think that probably put a mark on him saying, well, this is a guy that probably doesn't have the work ethic. I mean, I'm sure to some people they feel that certain way. And maybe there's some people that are just like, no, maybe let's see what this year brings for Anthony Richardson. Could he take that leap? Could he have learned from last season? Did he, what did he learn? So this is a year where I think you can look at AR and be like, okay, what can he do? How is he going to be able to elevate the Colts now? I like that they picked up their tight end pickup. I thought that was you know
Right.
uh, I thought that was good. I thought that's exactly something that they need as well. So I was okay with that, but how again, it all depends on is AR going to start running the ball more? Is he going to be injured because of certain decisions that we're making and things
Right.
like that? So honestly, that's too many variables there that kind of don't give me the confidence to have the Colts somewhere up there. And I think I think the Texans and the Titans have a better chance of being either at those one or two first and second spots in the AFC South,
Mhm.
because I think that their draft went much better than both of those teams. I think and you guys added, like I said at the beginning of the show, I told you guys what you guys added around to make your quarterback successful, to make Cam Ward successful. And
Right.
again, Cam Ward strikes me as a guy that does take his football seriously, that has
Right.
that work ethic. I mean, they believe him so much that Warren Moon came out and gave him that number 1 jersey.
Oh boy, that made me a gut clench. I was like, no snap yet, no snap, and we're doing this.
So
Like,
what was your reaction towards that when you saw Warren Moon come in and give him the number
so
1 jersey?
I find that people don't like to have nuanced conversations. Sometimes maybe that's why you and I do this job. But the nuanced conversation is this. I feel like it is his number. He can give it to whoever he wants. I'll
Right.
say that out the gate. If he wants to give it to whatever he wants. I balk at the people like Air to McNair. I'm like, easy. Like that's
Sorry, my dog.
that's hollow. No, I get it. Not that Warren Moon's not hollowed ground, but he's alive to see it. I think Air
Right.
to McNair is a little too sacred for me. But
Fair.
I wouldn't have given him the number because I haven't seen him take an NFL snap yet. I have no
Okay.
clue.
You think it's
And
too soon?
I think it's too soon.
Okay.
But I do think it's funny that the Titans do what every organization does. Oh, we don't know if he's the starter yet. He's the starter.
Well,
Okay, come on.
the
You're not
Texans did it
starting.
with CJ Stroud.
I
Also.
know.
It
It's
was
like
that
this is
point.
such a silly conversation now.
I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. I remember when the Texans got Deshaun Watson and they were talking about Tom Savage was a starter, and then
Tom Savage is real.
well, and apparently he was a starter for like the Jaguars game. When he was a starter, and then he was gone by halftime. And
That'll do it.
yeah, and so I think every
Poor old
organization
Tom.
does it, huh?
Poor old Tom. I actually like Tom. I feel bad for him.
He was cool.
But,
I still remember being that on the game where Tom Savage replaced Brock Osweiler, and the whole Energy Stadium just erupted and cheered.
Erupted. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's on YouTube still, the clip.
Yeah, but I think my original question, because my ADD mind gets sidetracked.
Oh, 100%.
I also have SmackDown on TV, so I'm like, oh snap. So the you look at like the AFC as a whole, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot more pressure on the Texans, not really from the division, but if you look at around things right now, Chargers are starting to pick it up finally. Yeah. The Chiefs and the Bills, I say, are a little bleedy right now. Maybe they're better after the draft. I don't know. But I don't think they are the God killers that we all thought they were.
Okay.
I think I think there's a lot of pressure on the Ravens
Yeah.
because I don't think you can play like that as a quarterback and not suffer serious injury. He's already grabbing his back when he gets up. Like, how many hits is Lamar Jackson going to take? So I feel like the Texans are looking at it like we have to do something now. Like, we
Yeah.
got to get up there.
And also the fact that you're probably going to have to renew CJ Stroud's contract.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. Everything has a window. Everything.
It has a window because, and of course you also got Will Anderson too.
Yep.
That's coming up. So yeah, I 100% I agree. There is pressure. There should be pressure because at that point it's like I think the Texans. I think the second year was a regression as far as what happened with the offensive line.
Happens to everybody though. It's very rarely that you never see it happen. It's
right. And I think that slowed down a lot of CJ Stroud's progress when it came to that. This season, you've seen CJ, like last season, you got to see CJ Stroud. Also, I feel like he's taking it very seriously as well, and reflecting upon it. Last season, there's been a lot of right now. There's been a lot of fans saying on Twitter, especially in the Texans community, like, "Hey, remember last year you got to see CJ Stroud in a lot of podcasts and during the off season. You haven't seen him in one recently, so."
That's good. I kind of like that though.
And so
I think it's that we put it as an area of concern. But I also enjoy that they're not on it, if that makes any sense.
But I think they're talking about because it's like the I think that people think of it as a loss of focus.
Yeah.
I think last season, they had like CJ traveling out with like Micah Parsons to Japan and things like that for a HBO thing. And you haven't seen much of it. So I think people see it as a perspective of like, well, I think he's focusing more on it, more on the game or whatever, and reflecting, which could be true. It could be true, but there's pressure. To answer your question, there is pressure. I think they have to get as much as they can before they pay both Will Anderson, who's he's going to get paid, and of course CJ Stroud, based on what happened with Brock Purdy and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence changed the game for a lot of these quarterbacks.
The money. You mean the money,
and then Brock Purdy, same thing. So you can expect the big payday coming for CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
and so
not that you have a choice in the matter, you have to.
You have to. I believe the Texans will sign him to a big deal just because after the whole Deshaun Watson debacle, where the Texans believe that they had a quarterback in Deshaun Watson before all the allegations started coming out, I don't think you're going to want to let go of CJ Stroud. This is a guy that's cemented as your quarterback. So I think they'll pay him. And of course, you can't just let Will Anderson walk out either. You got those guys together. You're going to keep them together as long as you possibly can. So. And the good thing is Nick Caserio is pretty good with that. I think Nick Caserio is going to pull up a pretty good deal for those guys, and they're going to take care of it. So I don't see any of these guys going anywhere because they're all in on the team. I think Will Anderson came out talking about I want to stay a Texan, but then again every athlete says the same thing whenever they ask him about I want to stay on the team.
But, I want to be here forever. I want to be a Texan for life. Or, you see this all the time.
Yeah, you see this all the time, but I think yes, the pressure is definitely on because you're going to try to get as much as you can this season from those guys before you have to sign them. Yep. And I think I think you start signing them probably this season, one of them at least, so that by next season, you may franchise tag one of them. That's probably what's going to happen. So
that's just the end of it right there. You have to franchise tag.
You have to franchise tag.
That's a fat paycheck because I can't imagine. It is crazy though when you think about it because like I was taken aback and I guess I was just kind of lost in the loop here. Like Cam Ward's rookie contract, $46.5 million.
You'll definitely go start seeing that.
It's crazy to me. I'm like, man, I remember when they started out, it was like, here's $3 million.
Here's $3 million. Here's $3 million, and you got to earn your next up. Now, like
I hope this works. Like, And
then, do you remember Marvin? Was it Marvin Harrison last season that wouldn't put his names on jerseys?
Yeah,
like these kids are coming in straight up, and they're like, no, they're making some demands to the league,
Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying that Cam Ward made those demands. I'm just thinking like,
no. I get you. Yeah. It's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. I don't know. I saw that number. I was like, yeah. And they're like, you think that's bad? And I went and my brother showed me Sam Bradford's number when he got signed. And I was like, golly, I wouldn't even have to get injured. I would just be like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. It's over.
74 guaranteed. All right. See ya. Yeah. Just by
my
signing.
Ankle suddenly started hurting now. High ankle sprain.
Everything's pain.
Yeah.
Good old Sam Bradford. You can't beat that. Carlos, what do you got coming down the pipeline for us?
We've been doing this thing on Just Fans every Monday. We were out this past Monday, but we're getting back to it. We're kind of going around our podcasting friends. You were on it for talking.
It's the best off-season thing ever.
It's like let's talk Titans or whatever. We did that with you, talking Titans, I think, and then we had Bo on 2 weeks ago for talking Seahawks.
I'm sorry. Did you get the smug out of your room?
That's right, Bo. Talking about you. No,
I enjoy it.
And then we're talking about then I think I had an old friend of ours for Just Fans, Andy McNamara, who's he's out of Canada, and we met him.
I caught a piece of that.
Yeah, we caught him. So Andy, what I liked about Andy is the fact that he was our first guy that was kind of like legit. That came on our show for the first time ever. And when we were doing these things, and he was really cool dude, and we kind of kept that friendship ever since. And so he'll come on my show whenever I ask him to. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to come through? And he's like, yeah,
hey,
immediately.
Get on here. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And he always provides awesome intel. And the funniest part is he's such a wrestling nerd. And that's why I like him.
Yeah.
He's such a wrestling nerd. And great dude. The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. Check him out on that for a lot of Browns coverage. Excuse me. I know from the Let's Talk Sports when we all used to do this thing. Bobby G is another guy that does a lot of good.
Bobby G,
a lot of great stuff for.
He never forgave me for my Pacers putting him out. He never forgave me.
So I think we're doing that. I'm trying to figure out who's going to be next, but don't miss the next Monday we might just take off, to be honest with you, because it is Memorial Day. So we might want to spend it with our families, and then we'll be back up. So maybe like a 2-week hiatus that we're going to take just to give ourselves a break. But if I'm able to, I'm talking to a few people. So if it comes through,
I'll go back on. Sure, why not?
Let's talk Titans. Like, again? Yes, you got Cam Ward.
Yeah. It's time for the great jersey debate. Oh, God help me. Just walk out.
The colors, Sam? The colors?
The colors, dude. The colors. Oh, yeah. Alan, don't do this. Don't just bottom.
Is he? I was actually thinking about hitting up Alan for Monday and my cousin Robert because he's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
I was talking about Robert. That. So there's a possibility. Alan, I know you're a very busy man. I know you're a very busy man, Alan. We might talk some Cowboys Monday.
Hey, I like that.
America's team on Memorial Day.
Yeah, absolutely. You can catch these guys at Just Fans 22.
Yeah,
here on Twitter. That they have a YouTube channel. I'm sure they have the links all on there for you. You can catch me at Mr. First Down on Twitter. I don't know how I got that name, but it works. It's crazy.
How did you get that? You didn't get that? I thought you self-proclaimed yourself Mr. First Down.
I self-proclaimed myself Mr. First Down, and it manifested in Twitter. I was like, does anybody else have this name? No? Amazing. So looks like, hey, look at that. All right, I get my 5% finder's fee because it was on.
There you go. He got a finder's fee. Also, if y'all want to check out my personal stuff, because I do, again, I do some reporting on the side.
He's a man of many hats.
Yeah. Carlos Talks NFL altogether at Carlos Talks NFL. I do a lot of soccer for MLS. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of coverage this summer for a lot of the soccer tournaments that are happening. And, trying to see if we get a World Cup spot, hopefully. And then, of course, I publish some articles as well, and when I publish them, I post them at the Carlos.
And they're good reads, by the way.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it. And
you're well done.
Yeah, and so and that goes on. So he got the Johnny Cruz contract.
Hey, Johnny Cruz. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you this real quick, and then we'll go. Johnny Cruz. I was still rather nonplussed by Cam Ward. And before anybody jumps down my throat in my DMs like you guys are prone to do, I am saying that I think I have every right to be, after all the experiences as a Titans fan, after all the quarterbacks, to be a little trepidatious about them picking a quarterback in numero uno. And I expected Johnny Cruz to come out there and give me the I am him. He is different. He's the GOAT, Sam. You'll see, blah, blah. He said no cliche. He went in there. He talked his bit like you did with Restrepo. He came in there. He talked his business or whatever. So I am giving the kid a chance, obviously. Yeah. But now I'm a little more excited because Johnny Cruz kind of calmed the waters.
Yeah.
As far as
Johnny's a Miami guy, right?
Yeah.
So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to like Miami football. This past season, again, it was my first time really covering Miami and seeing that, and so I think that I think that I like him. I think, like I said, I'm optimistic for the Titans fans because I think that yes, Alan, I saw your text. That's why I was looking at my watch because I saw your text. Triple A, oh my guy Penta, I love it.
Love it.
Yeah. But yeah,
he's gotten so much cleaner in operation. He's done
dude, I totally. It just takes. It's just part of like getting used to the process. Remember?
No, you're right. You're right.
AEW, like it's kind of like a free for all. There's really not much. I feel like there's not really much organization. So
there isn't.
It's a process. But like you can't put a guy. I know we're talking wrestling now. Like you can't put a guy like Penta in like NXT to clean stuff up. It just takes time, and I think they do that. Remember when you talk? When I knew that. The moment I knew that you were looking at Penta differently was when you texted me, "Hey, is he hurt? Is he hurt?" And I was like, "Nah, dude."
Yeah, he sold well. That's fantastic.
He sold that.
He sold it really well. He did that sling blade, and I thought, "Oh my god, he's hurt."
Yeah,
look at me.
And it's just getting used to the WWE process, dude. That's all it is.
I liked it. I was happy.
Did you like the team up with him and AJ Styles? I thought that was a good one.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
they work well.
First of all, we know a couple things here. Vets like AJ Styles are not just going to work with anybody. They will work with you, right? AJ Styles, quite arguably, when you go and look at the career, not just the wins and stuff like that, I don't mean that, but from people that wrestling pure, technique, form, all of it, he's in the top 5. Easily.
100%.
Easily. And people tend to forget that. And he's just like, so for him to work with Penta, whatever, that's high praise. Yeah. That's high praise. And he totally deserves it. Now, I will say, Penta, please go get your bicep fixed. That's crazy story.
Oh, yeah, you saw that, dude? That he's missing.
Yeah. I love how Sheamus just stared at him, and he's like, you should probably
the first time I met him, like, so the first time, one thing that I do is this. I'm not the tallest guy. I'm like average size dude as far as height, right? Whatever.
Sure,
and so when I met him for the first time, I always kind of like, I don't know if it's a dude thing, but you ever like kind of like measure how tall some dude is or whatever next to you or whatever, like
size him up, you
size him up just to be like, cool, in my own. And so I remember like looking at when I met Penta the first time when I went to this thing that where you got to meet him, like I looked at him and I was like, dude, we're the same height. I was like, we're the same exact height.
You're a wrestler, Carlos.
Right. But the thing is I noticed something was. I thought I was going crazy. Like, is this bicep okay? Like, I thought it was.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was.
When Sheamus pointed at it, he's like, you should get that fixed.
Yeah, I never realized his bicep is like.
Oh yeah, it's like detached. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that's me. I'm like,
I was at first when I saw it, I thought I was like, okay, maybe I'm.
Hey, real quick, you should fix that.
Hey, you should really get that taken care of, bud. Yeah,
right after Mania or SummerSlam or something. Go get that fixed.
Yeah. So they're coming here to Houston on the 21st of July. So I get to see Penta again on Raw. So
they're coming to Nashville. SmackDown's coming to Nashville July 11th, and I can't wait to yell when my man walks out. So I'll be happy about that.
But are you able to text your guy and be like, yo?
No, I'm sure not, Carlos.
I'm kidding. No, I'm messing with you.
No, it's fine. Look, I'm jealous of it. I'm happy that I'm the guy that knows a guy that knows a guy.
Look, brother, like, and that was just luck. It could happen to anybody because, like I said, that little signing, and I'm not, that little signing that a lot of people weren't aware of back when he was still like beginning AEW.
Yes.
The fact that not a lot of people went because it wasn't made too public. I got to hang out with the guy for like 30 minutes, just shoot it with him back and forth to the point where like I got number, and then I got to see him at different places here in Texas, and we took pictures and hung out. Like that just came from that. It's not like I knew him from like years ago. It's just the fact that it was just luck of the draw, and he promoted my podcast, for goodness sake. There's a video of him promoting the Just Fans podcast on online, and me next to him, just like there, and he was awesome at it.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
anyway, that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you all for coming on. Carlos, thank you, man.
Brother,
it's
anytime.
Always a blast.
Anytime,
Always
you know, you're on for the Just. Believe it or not, guys, Sam is part of the Just Fans podcast. Even though we literally introduce him as a sign of respect. Might I add? Yeah, he has a T-shirt that I gave him. Where is it, Sam? Pull it out right now. I want to see. No, I keep it with me daily. No, and I haven't washed it since day one. No.
It's tied around my naked waist.
Wow. Anyway, yeah, no. In case you didn't know, in case y'all know, yes, Sam is part of the Just Fans podcast, but he's like our outside consultant for the Titans. We don't have any
Dave
of those.
Is online just have too. One.
Since Sam earned it. Sam
you travel me to different. You fly me coach and like red eyes the whole time, and I'm just like
Spirit. We'll fly you
Spirit. Oh my god,
Frontier Spirit. That's what you get. We don't have budget. We don't have money. Take a Greyhound or something. I don't know.
I've had a good run.
Yeah,
the honorary member, aka the punching bag. Yeah, well, you know, somebody's
got to earn your spot somehow.
If it's not me, it's you, Alan. So who do you want to take the hit? So.
Do you want to be the punching bag, Alan? You can be part of the JFP.
I'll take a nice vacation.
Everybody moves up a step. You join in, and you get the punch. You get to be the. No, but honestly, I feel weird. I do feel bad if. I do feel bad if Alan does. Becomes the punching bag. Also, Alan, I just realized I owe you a Just Fans T-shirt.
Oh,
we started making a few of these, so there you go.
Oh,
Sam, I'll send you one of these. Sam also got I already have back problems. I'll pass. Sam, we also got one of these now in the color in the blue. Yeah.
Ah, sweet. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. I'll get you one.
Thank you very much.
Just like I have your luchador mask that I never sent you. Oh wait, hold on.
a grande Americano.
Yeah, I just realized I did this before the Grande Americano.
Yeah, I know. We were trendsetters and we didn't even know it.
Yeah. So this is a mask that I got Sam from Cancun, and I also have Botkins's also. I got this from Cancun, Mexico. It's a luchador mask, and Botkins, eh? I'm Botkins. So as you can see, I got my Rey Mysterio one back there, and by the way, I'm getting a Penta mask. Did I send you the picture? The one that I'm getting? Huh?
Yeah, no. You haven't sent me.
I'll send it to you.
You don't have to.
It's
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's great. Look at it.
Yeah.
So, look how great. We'll put it on the shelf right here behind me.
So this is Sam's mask that I still haven't sent to him, and it's still here in Houston. It's literally, I got this in December when I went to Cancun for my honeymoon with my wife, and I thought of Sam immediately as soon as I got it. I was like, would Sam wear a USA flag Rey Mysterio mask? And so I haven't sent to him, but I will be sending it this weekend along with Botkins's. So Botkins, eh? So
Botkins.
I have Botkins's in a bag also, but as you can see, mine's right there, the one with the Mexico colors. It's green and red on the other side.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So Sam, you'll be getting this, but we started this before the Grande Americano.
We were there. We were there, man. They stole it. They owe us royalties.
Yeah. All right, bro. I hear you. You've been trying to say goodbye for the last 10 minutes.
Hey, I love it. Yeah. I'm here for it. Thank you all for watching.
Sam. Sorry.
What?
Whenever you come back, I need to take you here. Terry Black's Barbecue in Austin, Texas. It's really good.
We'll eat there, and then we'll drive 3 hours to Canton and get another shirt from that coffee place, and then we'll head back.
Bubba's?
Whatever that coffee place we sat at, the awesome that we got. I know, it's so comfy. My wife's like, I'm gonna wear this. I'm like, no, you're not.
Oh, dude, because I got like bosoms because I'm a big boy, but that t-shirt makes me feel pretty good.
That's
it's not Sam, it's Senor First. Oh, dude, Senor First
we gotta do this. We gotta do this.
I'm sending you the mask. Botkins, we have to do a show with all three of us. You, me, Botkins wearing these masks.
Senor First Down.
Senor First Down. I love it.
Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for the troops. Thank you for all the people that do the things and have done the things that you do to keep us free and dealing with our own stuff and living life, baby. Living life, baby. Yeah. So you all have a wonderful evening. Get the grill out. Have a great time. Love each other. Take care. This is Mr. First Down for Carlos from Just Fans. We are out of here.